The man who needs nothing is the man everyone wants. Let that sink in for a second. Every text you fire off within 30 seconds is a digital confession of weakness. Every time you cancel your plans because she finally replied, you're broadcasting to her subconscious that your entire existence revolves around her approval. And the exact millisecond she fully believes that, it's over. Done. Finished. You want the brutal truth nobody has the guts to tell you? Women in 2026 are swimming in an ocean of attention. Their phones explode 200 times daily with thirsty men offering compliments, free dinners, emotional labor, and pure desperation gift-wrapped in "Good morning beautiful" messages at 6 a.m. You know what actually penetrates that wall of noise like a lightning bolt through fog? Your absence. Not your witty comeback. Not your heartfelt essay about feelings. Not the roses you ordered or the 3-paragraph explanation of why you care so much. Your cold, calculated, emotionally bulletproof absence. The moment you grasp that the modern female brain has been completely rewired to obsess over what it cannot possess, you unlock a psychological cheat code that 99% of men will die without discovering. They're too invested in proving they're different. Too committed to being understanding. Too terrified of losing the one crumb of attention she tossed their way last Tuesday. You're about to become the phantom she replays in her mind at 3 in the morning. Here's what actually happens in her world. She wakes up to 17 notifications. Instagram hearts from strangers. Snapchat replies from dudes she forgot existed. LinkedIn messages from guys pretending to network. Her ex checking her story at 2 a.m. Some random shooting his shot in the coffee shop. Her coworker dropping hints. The guy from the gym asking about her routine. It's a hurricane of validation. And every single one of those men is available. Eager. Ready to drop everything for 5 minutes of her time. Then there's you. You saw her message 4 hours ago. You were doing something that actually mattered. Building something. Training. Creating. Living. And when you finally respond, it's not an apology. It's not an explanation. It's just 5 words that reframe the entire dynamic. Suddenly her brain short-circuits. Wait, he's not like the others. He's not sitting by his phone waiting for me. He's not rearranging his life around my availability. He's not grateful I even replied. He's just existing. Powerfully. Independently. Unbothered. That confusion? That's the crack in her armor. That uncertainty? That's the seed of obsession. Because you just did something nobody else in her phone has done in months. You treated your time like it actually cost something. You became unavailable in a world where everyone is desperately, pathetically available. You transformed from another option into the option she might lose. And that possibility of loss triggers something primal in her brain that no amount of flowers or compliments ever could. This is where everything changes. Abundance is invisible. Scarcity is irresistible. Think back to the last thing you genuinely craved. The thing that kept you refreshing the page, checking your bank account, asking yourself if you could justify the purchase. Was it sitting there waiting for you? Gathering dust on some shelf? Always available whenever you felt like it? Hell no. It was limited edition. Almost gone. 3 left in stock. Flash sale ending in 47 minutes. Pre-order only. Waitlist closed. Sorry, we're full. That's not just clever marketing. That's your DNA screaming at you. The human brain is wired to assign massive value to anything moving away from it. It's the exact reason people lose their minds buying toilet paper during a crisis. Why concert tickets for a farewell tour cost triple. Why everyone wants the restaurant with the 2-month reservation list. When you make yourself emotionally available around the clock, you become the grocery store brand. Always there. Never exciting. Predictable as sunrise. But when you become the man whose calendar has actual conflicts, whose attention comes with conditions, whose energy gets distributed based on merit, you become the stadium show that sells out in minutes. Every single time you say yes without hesitation, you're dropping your stock price by 10%. Every boundary you actually enforce multiplies your value by 5. She doesn't fantasize about the guy who clears his entire Saturday because she sent WYD at 9 p.m. with a winky face. She obsesses over the man who says, "Can't make it tonight. Swamped this week. Maybe next Friday?" That one sentence detonates her entire reality. Suddenly you're not the safety net. You're not the backup plan collecting dust while she explores options. You're not the emotional ATM she withdraws from whenever her validation account runs low. You're the man that other priorities compete against. You're the slot she has to earn. You're the resource she might actually lose access to. And that realization flips a biological switch that's been sitting dormant in her brain since the Stone Age. The switch labeled, secure the retreating resource before it vanishes completely. This is the same primal circuitry that makes her chase designer bags she can barely afford. The same mechanism that has her bidding on auction items she didn't even want until someone else showed interest. You've just activated her scarcity radar. From this moment forward, every interaction gets filtered through a new lens. She starts calculating, starts strategizing, starts wondering what you're doing when you're not responding, starts noticing the gaps in her access to you. The guy who was invisible yesterday becomes the puzzle she needs to solve today. The attention she took for granted transforms into the approval she needs to secure. You didn't chase. You didn't convince. You didn't perform or prove or pursue. You simply became unavailable. And in a world where everything is instant, available, and desperate for her click, unavailable is the only thing that still feels valuable. Silence is the most violent reply. Let's get tactical. Let's talk about the exact moves that separate forgotten names from legends she can't stop thinking about. She posts a thirst trap. Cleavage perfectly framed. Angle rehearsed 17 times. Caption saying absolutely nothing but fishing for everything. Weak play, smiling face with hard eyes fire damn you're stunning. Power play, don't even open it for 36 hours. When you finally check her stories, react to the next one. The boring shot of her breakfast or her dog. Drop 3 words, that looks good. Watch her brain implode trying to decode why you ignored the bait but noticed the toast. She double texts after you've gone radio silent for 8 hours. Weak play, sorry? Was super busy haha what's going on? Power play, wait another 14 hours minimum. Then send a single thumbs up. Or better yet, a 6-second voice note where she hears you mid-conversation with someone else, laughing about something she's not part of. No explanation. No apology. Just proof you exist in a world she doesn't control. She hits you with the emotional nuke. I miss you pleading face. Weak play. I miss you too babe, wanna FaceTime? Power play. Been locked in on some projects. Hitting goals. You doing alright? Notice what just happened. You acknowledged the message without validating the emotional manipulation. You centered the frame back on your world. You made her qualify why she's reaching out instead of you scrambling to comfort her. Late night, can we talk? Message drops in your notifications. Weak play, immediate phone call at 11 p.m. Power play, next morning between 9 and noon, what's up? Got about 10 minutes before I'm out. You just told her that her urgency doesn't dictate your availability, that your schedule runs on your terms, that even her emotional emergencies get slotted into your calendar, not the other way around. Here's the digital body language that screams high value without saying a word. No emoji spam. Maybe 100 points or thumbs up once every few days. That's it. Periods after your sentences. Always. No haha softening your statements. No exclamation points begging for approval. Voice notes over typing when you actually respond. Your voice and time are premium. Your thumbs don't work overtime for anyone's entertainment. Never justify slow responses. Ever. No, sorry I was busy, or my phone died, or any explanation that sounds like you're reporting to a manager. Post stories showing your life in motion. Gym session. Networking event. Hiking trail. Friends laughing. 0 captions asking for validation. 0 desperate swipe up energy. Your phone should feel like a professional tool, not an electronic leash connecting you to her emotional weather patterns. Every notification is optional. Every response is deliberate. Every interaction happens because you chose it, not because she demanded it. This is the language algorithms and her subconscious both understand. Scarcity. Authority. Options. She doesn't miss you when you're there. She obsesses when you're gone. Let me walk you through exactly what detonates inside her brain when you execute tactical withdrawal correctly. Hour 1 through 6. Confusion stage. Weird, he usually responds pretty fast. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he's in a meeting. Maybe he didn't see it. She's giving you the benefit of the doubt, creating innocent explanations. Her brain is still comfortable because the pattern hasn't fully broken yet. Hour 6 through 18. Concern creeps in. Okay, it's been half a day. Is he alright? Did something happen? Did I say something that came across wrong in that last message? Now she's checking your profile, looking at when you were last active, noticing you posted a story 3 hours ago but didn't respond to her text. The math isn't adding up. The discomfort begins. Day 1 through 2. Anxiety takes the wheel. Why do I even care this much? I barely know this guy. We're not even that serious. So why can't I stop checking my phone? This is the critical phase. She's arguing with herself about why you matter. And here's the secret. The more she has to convince herself you don't matter, the more you're proving you actually do. Day 2 through 5. Full obsession mode activated. She's refreshing your last active status like it's a stock ticker. Rewatching your old stories trying to decode your mood. Asking her friends if they think she should double text. Drafting and deleting messages for 40 minutes before sending something that sounds casual. She sends memes. Asks random questions. Drops the "this made me think of you" line. Starts engineering excuses to be in your orbit. Day 5 and beyond. Total role reversal achieved. Now she's paragraphing while you're sending 7 words. She's initiating every conversation. She's suggesting plans. She's working around your schedule. She's qualifying herself to you without even realizing it. You didn't insult her. You didn't manipulate her with mind games. You didn't gaslight or play toxic tricks. You just lived like a man who has a purpose bigger than monitoring his notification center. And that became magnetic. Here's the beautiful part she'll never admit out loud. The uncertainty is what hooked her. The guys blowing up her phone? Boring. Predictable. Safe. She knows exactly how they'll respond because they always respond the same way. Instantly. Eagerly. Desperately. But you? You're a variable she can't solve. One day you're engaged and present. Next day you're a ghost. She can't figure out the pattern because there isn't one. You respond when your life permits it, not when her neediness demands it. That unpredictability creates a mental loop she cannot escape. She starts checking her phone hoping you've replied. Gets a little dopamine hit when you finally do. Crashes when you go quiet again. Congratulations. You've become her most addictive notification. People don't want what they have. They panic over what's slipping away. There's a psychological phenomenon called loss aversion. Nobel Prize winners spent decades proving what you're about to weaponize. Humans feel the pain of losing something 2.5 times more intensely than the pleasure of gaining that same thing. Translation: she will fight like hell to keep you once she thinks she's losing you. Way harder than she ever fought to get you in the first place. Let me show you how to activate this loop without looking like you're trying. Give high-quality attention in short, unpredictable bursts. 20 minutes of deep conversation where you're fully present and engaged. Then disappear for 2 days. No warning. No explanation. Just gone. Never establish a rhythm she can rely on. No goodnight texts every evening at 11. No Sunday morning check-ins. No predictable patterns her brain can map and expect. The moment she knows when you'll reach out, you've lost the edge. Occasionally go completely dark for 48 to 72 hours. No stories. No replies. Total communication blackout. Then come back acting completely normal. Like nothing happened. Like you didn't just vanish off the face of the earth while she spiraled wondering if you met someone else. Here's the critical rule most guys violate and destroy everything. You must be genuinely outcome independent. If you're doing this just to manipulate her into your bed, she'll smell the desperation underneath the technique. Your neediness will leak through the cracks and the whole thing backfires spectacularly. But if you legitimately have a life so packed with purpose that she's a pleasant addition and not the main storyline, she'll feel that authenticity radiating through every interaction. And it'll drive her absolutely wild. The mirror test tells you everything you need to know about where you stand. If going 3 days without talking to her makes you anxious, checking your phone every 15 minutes, wondering what she's doing, crafting messages you don't send, you've already lost. You need her validation more than she needs yours. But if those same 3 days pass and you barely noticed because you were training, building, creating, living, and she spent that entire time refreshing your profile and manufacturing reasons to text you, you've won. Here's what she's experiencing on her end during your absence. Every guy in her phone is available. Texting good morning. Asking about her day. Liking her posts within seconds. Being consistent and present and eager. Then there's you. The guy who gives her incredible energy when he's around, then vanishes like smoke when he's not. Her brain can't categorize you. Can't predict you. Can't control you. So it obsesses. She starts comparing every other guy's attention to yours. And suddenly all that abundant validation feels cheap. Worthless. Empty. Because it's not scarce. It's not challenging. It's not you. That comparison is the trap. Once she's measuring everyone against your energy, everyone else loses. Detachment is not a strategy. It's a state of being. Let me be brutally honest with you right now. If you're reading this hoping to trick one specific girl into liking you, you've already failed before you started. Because tricks have expiration dates. Techniques get exposed. Tactics become transparent the second she senses you're performing instead of living. But a man who genuinely doesn't need her validation to feel complete? That's not a tactic. That's a force of nature she cannot resist. Here's the shift that separates pretenders from legends. Stop asking, how do I get her to chase me? Start asking, how do I build a life so powerful that everyone naturally orbits around me? That question changes everything. Because when your life is actually that compelling, tactical indifference stops being something you do. It becomes who you are. You're not pretending to be busy. You actually are busy building something that matters. You're not faking abundance. You have genuine options because you've become genuinely valuable. You're not playing hard to get. You are hard to get because your time costs something real. Let me break down what that life actually looks like. A physique that makes people do double takes when you walk past. Not for her. For you. Because you respect yourself enough to be dangerous. A bank account that doesn't give you anxiety when unexpected expenses hit. Money that gives you options and removes desperation from every decision. A purpose that launches you out of bed before your alarm screams. Something you're building that excites you more than any text notification ever could. A social circle that energizes instead of drains you. Friends who push you higher. Connections that open doors. A network that makes you more valuable just by association. Skills that make you the most interesting person in any room you enter. Things you can do that most people only wish they could. When these pieces lock into place, something magical happens. You stop needing to remember the rules of engagement. You stop calculating response times. You stop strategizing about when to pull back. It all becomes automatic. You don't respond immediately because you were genuinely doing something more important than checking your phone. You don't always make plans with her because your calendar actually has competing priorities. You don't chase her validation because you're getting fulfillment from 10 other sources that matter more. This is the difference between a boy playing games and a man living his truth. The boy studies tactics and tries to execute them perfectly, sweating every detail, hoping she doesn't notice he's following a script. The man builds himself into someone whose natural behavior creates the same effects without any conscious effort. One is exhausting and fake. The other is effortless and authentic. And women have razor-sharp detectors for authenticity. She can smell try-hard energy from a mile away. But she's completely defenseless against a man who genuinely has better things to do than decode her mixed signals. That authenticity is the final ingredient that makes this entire framework unstoppable. The hunter chases. The treasure waits. Here's the endgame nobody talks about because it sounds too good to be true. Most men spend their entire lives in pursuit mode. Chasing women. Hoping someone will finally pick them. Waiting for validation that never quite satisfies even when it comes. You're about to flip that script permanently. You're going to become so selective, so grounded in your value, so completely unfazed by beauty or attention that women will compete for access to your world. Not because you're playing games. Because you've become genuinely rare. The new framework looks like this. She doesn't get your Friday night by default just because she's attractive. She earns your prime time through consistent respect, authentic femininity, and demonstrated effort. Your attention isn't a participation trophy. It's a reward for matching your energy. You don't tolerate disrespect, last-minute cancellations, or emotional manipulation. You just quietly remove access and move forward. No lectures. No second chances packaged as lessons. Just boundaries enforced through action. You never explain yourself or apologize for having standards that filter out low-quality behavior. Here's what happens when you operate from this frame long-term. The woman who finally locks you down will respect you in a way nice guys never experience in their entire dating lives. Why? Because she knows she won something valuable. Something other women wanted. Something she had to actually work for instead of just existing and receiving. She fought through your filters. Proved herself worthy of your commitment. Earned the relationship instead of stumbling into it. And human psychology has one iron law. We only cherish what we had to sacrifice for. The girl who got you by doing nothing will leave you the same way. Effortlessly. Without a second thought. The girl who had to level up to deserve you will protect that position like her life depends on it. She'll brag about you. Support your mission. Add value to your world. Respect your time. Match your energy. Not because you demanded it. Because she knows what she has to lose. Your final marching orders are simple but non-negotiable. Build a life worth protecting. Something so valuable that letting the wrong person into it feels like a genuine risk. Let her add to that life, never define it. She's a complement to your mission, not the mission itself. Walk away from anyone who doesn't match your energy without guilt or hesitation. Compatibility isn't negotiable. Never break frame even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. That's when it matters most. Stay the prize. Always. Welcome to the top 1%. The game is over. You've already won. But here's the thing. Knowing this information changes nothing. Applying it changes everything. If this hit different, if something clicked that's been missing your whole life, subscribe right now. Because what's coming next will complete the transformation. The men who take action separate themselves from everyone still just watching. Your move.